Welcome back to Retro Rewire. My name is JJ. We're back for another In the Hunt, once again at Trader on the second floor. This time we're going to be focusing more on the games. And guys, I had quite a bit of footage, so I'm going to be dividing it into another episode after this one, which I hope to have out sooner than rather than later. But we're going to start here with the Sega Mega Drive. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Consider subscribing, liking, hit the bell, all that good stuff. I would appreciate the support. And let's just go ahead and dive in with Dynamite Heady here. And the one thing about the Mega Drive here in Japan is I absolutely love the covers. They just have a certain charm to them. And then, you know, also with like the stylings of the actual boxes and cases, it just kind of leaves a little bit more real estate than their Super Famicom counterparts. Here we have Tatsujin, fairly popular shmup there for the Sega Mega Drive. I actually haven't played that myself though. One day. And then we have Virtua Racing here. I haven't played the Sega Genesis version, but the Sega Saturn one is definitely, I do like that version as well as the one on the Switch. And then here we have Toe Jam and Earl. Look at that cover, but the great thing is look at the backside to this. Just a single screenshot with just kind of like a reoccurring pattern there. That's pretty cool. And then we have Cheeky Cheeky Boys. I believe the original is a Capcom arcade game, which is a part of the Capcom collection for the PlayStation 2. Pretty fun game. I think it's also a part of the Capcom Arcade Stadium for the Switch, PS4, Xbox, Steam. Then we have Strider, another Capcom game. A lot of these I believe were reprogrammed by Sega themselves. And then we have the legendary Thunder Force 4. That's a great cover too. And then World of Illusion. I actually haven't played this one, but it seems to be pretty good. And I just like the backside cover art to these too. A lot of stuff going on here with the Mega Drive titles. And we're going to make our way here into the Sega Mega CD. But before that, I just want to show a little bit more of the Mega Drive. We have Forgotten Worlds. I remember playing this one back in the arcade. It had like a little turning knob thing. Haven't played the one on the Mega Drive, but I do love that cover. And look at the backside, just loaded with more cover art. Actually, that screen on the top left is kind of giving me Contra vibes. But here are the Mega CD games. Now, guys, this was actually taken a few weeks ago, the footage. And the great thing about Trader is that, you know, being in Tokyo, Akihabara, the stock is always changing. They're always getting new stuff in, but you know, of course, naturally some of the stuff that they do have is going to be selling. But here we have Lethal Enforcers 2. Not a bad cover, that one. I do like Western movies, and that cover definitely has a nice vibe to it. Although I can't say much for the games themselves. Then we have Sylphid. I believe I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Sylphid. But I haven't played the Mega CD version, but the PS2 version I have played before, and that's one that I want to add again to my collection. And then we have Final Fight CD with its special soundtrack, and this one has 2 players. I also have this for the PS3, which was bundled with Magic Sword. And then here we have this one by Compile. It's a shmup. I forget the name of this, like Musha something, I think would be the equivalent. But it looks pretty cool. And not too bad of a price there, coming at $69.80. And now look at this cover, Ninja Warriors. I really like the red ninja, the female ninja there. It's freaking kind of cool how she has the blonde hair just kind of flowing out. And then an interesting back cover art. I wonder if this had a slip cover, because it's just showing the Zuntata Sound Team's imagery back there. And then we have Night Strikers. This is also available obviously on the arcade, but also the Sega Saturn and the PS1, which those versions are a little bit more faithful to the arcade. And once again, that one's showing up the Zuntata. And then we have Mortal Kombat here for 3280 yen. I wonder how the Sega CD version fared. growing up, I had it, or I would play it on the Super Nintendo. But definitely a cool cover. Very simple, but still super cool. And look at that, the cover art with Goro. I recently picked up the movie on Laserdisc. It was like 50 yen. And then we're gonna make our way into the Sega Saturn section. Quite a bit of stuff here, and they did have a lot of like what you would expect, like these I guess the big Capcom fighters. You know, we have Vampire Savior there for 5880, which actually includes the full English language options once you beat it. And then we have Outrun. Now this one is climbing in price quite a bit. Then we have X-Men versus Street Fighter. Now a lot of these titles I do have, but I don't have it with the 4MB card because I don't really like this bulky little easy to damage cardboard box. I'd just rather have like the release that did not include the 4MB RAM card. And we have Guardian Heroes there for $29.80, which is also available on Xbox Live, so that's another alternative for that one. Then we have Cotton 2 for $13,800. That's also available on the Switch. And then we have Gun Frontier for $10,800, and that one is also available on the PS2. Then we have Thunder Force 5 for $89.80. Now, for me personally, I don't think that's actually too bad of a price. And I was actually looking at this one for quite some time, and one of the main reasons I did not pick it up was because I have it for the PS1. And then we have this bulky King of Fighters collection, which includes 95, 96, 97, and the ROM cart as well as the RAM expansion. This one is actually pretty bulky. And not too common there. And then we have Clockwork Knight. Now there is an edition that includes part 1 and part 2 as bundled. And I believe originally that's what they intended, but for whatever reason they ended up splitting it up. But that was one of the first games I played when I got my Sega Saturn way back in early 1996. What a year in gaming. But here we have some more Saturn titles. Feel free to pause. You know, I try to film slow here so you guys can read like the spine cards. That Sonic R, that's definitely something I would like. That's also a part of the Sonic collection for the PS2, GameCube, and I believe Xbox. As well as like a PC. And then we have Phantasm here. Now I believe this is an old Sierra game. And kind of surprised that this got a Sega Saturn release. And then here we have Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. And this is my preference for these games, coming in this like thinner case. Kind of how I was saying earlier. Then we have this Street Fighter collection for $27.80 and Alpha 2 for $16.80. Now Alpha 02 Alpha 2 is one that has been slowly climbing in price. Usually before, I remember a few years ago, you could find this for like a couple hundred yen. Then we have Metal Black for $77.80, another Taito game. And Sonic Wings Special. Now this one includes like a little mini bonus soundtrack. Which I actually have Sonic Wings Special, but I have it on the PS1. And then I believe this is Exhumed 1999, otherwise known as Power Slave, for $54.80. Now I have not played this, but I believe this is definitely one of the technical masterpieces for the Saturn. And then we have Macross for $24.80. It's a great little shmup. And then Dynamite Deca or Die Hard Arcade. I remember finding this at a flea market way out in Eastern Oregon for like $20. I ended up selling it, unfortunately, but I think one day I will just pick up this Japanese version. Kind of a hard game too. Just all sorts of Saturn stuff here. I usually spend quite a bit of time just kind of browsing this section. And we have Marvel Superheroes and the Falcom collection, which one of my earliest videos was on that collection. And then we have this thing. I've seen this before on other YouTube videos like years ago, but it seems to have some pretty cool animation. I'm not sure if it's an adventure game or a puzzle type of game. Kind of like in the vein of, oh god, I forget. It's that one with the little robot. But anyhow, we have Road Rash 33 80 now. Road Rash is freaking awesome. And I have it on the 3DO, so that's probably why I won't get it on the Saturn. Although I believe the Saturn version runs a little bit smoother. But anyhow, we're gonna make our way into the PS1 section. Lots of great stuff here for the PS1. And there's no denying the greatness of its library. There's just so much stuff on this system, especially in Japan. It's freaking crazy. Always discovering new titles. In fact, I'll show a few here that I haven't heard of before that kind of look interesting. This is not one of them though. This is a Symphony of the Night. Now that version is actually worth getting because it includes like a little mini comic and soundtrack and art book all in one. Then we have art types there. A great port, although it runs a little bit faster than the arcade. Not sure what this is, but Hamster. And we have Chrono Trigger for 2480, which you could still get like the English version, although it's pressed on a silver disc. And then we have 1944 Capcom Generation Volume 1. And then Goemon. Although I believe that one's not the one that's not actually very good. I think I have it, and it's the perspective on the camera is a little bit tight, kind of wonky. And then we have Cyberbots. Now this is a freaking awesome cover. And there's the Saturn version, and they're both roughly, a couple hundred yen apart. Although the Saturn version does support the RAM expansion for a little boost in the animation. But yeah, nice decent selection. And then here's another one. Now this is 8,880 yen, a little bit pricey, and I often see this one, but I'm not really sure what it's about other than it being like a strategy RPG, judging by those screenshots. But I do like the cover on that one. And we're just gonna continue here. Lots of little gems in here, And me, like, usually sometimes I do like to judge a game by its cover, but in a more positive way. Kind of like this one here that I'm gonna pull out. Now this is 2 Tenkaku, I believe. And I have not played this before, but it looks like some kind of shmup. And I wonder if it's, it looks kind of cool. This is something that I definitely would like to play. And then we have Xanax. Haven't played this one, but I hear a lot of great things about it. And it's not actually super cheap, and I believe it's a collection there. The Xanax and the Xanax Neo, which is kind of like a new coat of paint. And then here we have the X6800 version of Castlevania. This is a great game. This was also released in the States. Freaking love that game. In fact, it might be my favorite of all the Castlevania games that I've played. And then we have the Dreamcast section here. It's a bit small, but they're always adding quite a bit of stuff. In fact, I was there a few days ago and they added a few more titles that weren't here at the time of filming, and one of those was actually they still had this Puzzle Fighter 2, but I ended up getting American Pro Trucker. Freaking awesome game, that one. I've been wanting to play it for years. And that one's actually quite expensive, and I believe it's because it was a net-only title. That's the only way that you could purchase. But lots of Capcom games on the Dreamcast, and that's one of the reasons why freaking love the system, because I love my Capcom games. And I have quite the collection of 2D fighters, my goodness. And then we have Techromancer here. I used to have this, the North American version, which I picked up for 11 bucks back in the glory days. That was like 2002 or something. And then we have, what is this? Death Crimson 2. I believe this one also got a release in the States. I could be wrong, but I kind of remember seeing it. The Dreamcast is such a great system. Another copy of Techromancer, I believe, there. And Power Stone 2 for $53.80. This is far less expensive than the North American counterpart. Although there is a great collection of the Power Stone series on the PlayStation Portable. And that is definitely another option if you want to dive into that. Then Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for $26.80. That's a great game. Although I believe the Japanese copy is a little bit more difficult to unlock the entire roster. Anyhow, let's go ahead and continue on here with the N64. N64 was a great system, especially with the multiplayer games. Now, I didn't have one growing up, but I would lend out my Sega Saturn. And, other friends would loan me out their N64. We have a Castlevania here, which I actually, I did buy one a couple years ago But I ended up selling it, and that was one of the games that I had, that Castlevania 64, which wasn't actually too bad. Kind of had some pretty cool music too, which is not surprising. Castlevania is usually loaded with great tunes. But just a lot of great titles here, you know, F-Zero X for $35.80. I think I've played that like only once, and we'll have a closer look at it. But I believe this is this Blastozer is a Blast Core in the North American market. And then we have Kirby 64 for $17.80. Now these games are fairly inexpensive considering, you know, the condition that they're in and how complete they are. And then we have US Shenmue here. But anyhow, this is just kind of a little section that they have of various knickknacks, and this section is actually worth looking for because although it looks a little bit bare bones, I was able to find a Neo Geo CD AC adapter complete in the box. Anyhow, next episode, guys, which I hope to have out in a few days, we're going to take a look at the Neo Geo CD games, Famicom, more Famicom, and PC Engine, and a few other games for a few other consoles. Anyhow, my name is JJ. Thank you for checking out Retro Rewire, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Ciao.